Hi everyone! Today we're crocheting this multi-bag. This is definitely not the first project for total beginners. The pattern is really easy, but the grass yarn can make it so complicated to see the stitches. But if you can crochet the rectangle with the straight edges and you're familiar with basic stitches like chain stitch, single crochet and slip stitch, you can definitely give it a try. For this tutorial, I'll be using 3 types of yarn. First is this t-shirt yarn. This is yarn size 6. Next, I will use 2 strands of this grass yarn. It's yarn size 4. And next, I will use this blended yarn. I don't have a brand label for this because I got it from Unraveled thrifted sweater, but I've seen similar yarns on Etsy. They're often called like decorative flower yarn, hand blended yarn, textured, or bloom yarn. You can also use butterfly or flag yarn, or really any other fantasy yarn with a fun texture. I'll try to find similar yarn and put it in the description of the video. Next we'll need 2 carabiners and 2 D-rings. You can replace them with one carabiner that looks like circle, or with just a regular circle, or use only D-rings. That's totally up to you. Also will be using a magnetic snap button here. If you can, I recommend getting the sew-on type. Medium or large size works best. Regular snap buttons can be hard to close because the back walls are soft and flexible. The one I'm using in this video isn't the easiest to attach, so it's better to get the sew-on kind with little loops for stitching. You'll also need minimum 6 stitch markers, so it's easier to see where we should fold the fabric into the shape of a bag. Some scissors and 2 hooks. One of them is the main hook, this one 10mm, and this one is optional. You can use any smaller hook that you have and use it just for a moment where you can't make it with the main one. So let's get started. I will be using 1 strand of t-shirt yarn, 1 strand of blended yarn, and 2 strands of grass yarn. This is our working yarn. We are starting with the slip knot. To make a slip knot, we need to wrap the yarn around 2 fingers, grab our hook, insert the hook under the first strand of an X, grab the yarn, pull through, remove the fingers, and that's our slip knot. Make sure you have all of your strands in this slip knot. As you can see, I made a mistake, so I need to unravel it and do it again. Okay, this is our first stitch, and we need to make another 20 stitches. So now we need to ensure that we have 21 stitches in our foundation chain. The first one we made with a slip knot and additional 20 stitches we just made. Next we are going to skip the first stitch. The stitch on the hook we're not counting, so this is the first stitch that we should skip. And then we are going to insert our hook through this second stitch, through the back bump. Insert the hook, and make a single crochet. Find the next one and make a single crochet. When a few stitches left to the end, we can hide the tail. And you can use smaller hook here because it can be uncomfortable. So we insert our hook through the back bump, grab our tail and place it over the hook, just like this. Then we grab our working yarn and just make a regular single crochet. And then the next one. And continue like this to the end of the row. And there is no tail anymore. And we can cut it now. But be careful and do not cut the grass. Switch back to the main hook if you use the smaller one. To start the new row, we need to chain 1. Turn the warp. And now we are going to crochet through the bows loops on the stitch. We skip the first stitch as usual, this one, and insert our hook into the next one through the bows loops. And make a single crochet. Find the next one. Continue crocheting until you have 42 rows, and I'll meet you there. When you made 42 rows, we need to fasten off. To do so, we just pull the last loop, leave a short tail, something like this, and cut the yarn. Make sure it's actually 42 rows before cutting the yarn. And next we need to weave in this tail. Grab a smaller hook and just pull it through the existing loops to hide it. And when you hide it almost completely, you can just cut the tail, and that's it. Next, we are going to define where the front and back panel are. You can just use the side you like the most as the front panel, and you can see here that I have different front and back side because I have more grass on the front side and less on the back. That's because I just pull all the grass to the front side. So if you think that your front panel isn't fluffy enough, you can just insert the hook from right side to wrong side and pull the grass like this. You can also use hairbrush to make the grass look more accurate. And that's the result. And here is the wrong side. So when you're happy with the fluffiness of the right side, we need to place the markers. We need to place the first 2 markers between 12th and 13th row. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And we place the first marker between 12 and 13. And do the same on the other side. So here. Next we're going to count 6. 2, 4, 6, and place another marker. And on other edge. And we count 12 again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And place another 2 markers at this point. And we're done with the main panel for now. And we're going to start the side panels. We need 2 of them and they will be just the same. So we start with the Slipknot, as we did at the beginning of the video. And we need to make 6 chain stitches. Now we skip the first stitch, insert the hook under the back bump of the second stitch. And make a single crochet. Continue making single crochets, and we can hide the tail now. Just the same as we did with the main panel. Insert the hook, place the tail over the hook, and make a regular single crochet. Chain 1, turn the work, skip the first stitch, insert the hook into the second, and make a regular single crochet. Continue to the end of the row, and we need to have 11 rows, and then we will add the D-rings. I made 11 rows. And now we are going to make the last row and attach the D-ring. To attach the D-ring, we need to insert the hook into the second stitch, and then just insert the hook into the D-ring, and then make a single crochet. Then insert the hook into the next stitch, insert it into the D-ring, pull the yarn through, make a regular single crochet. And the last one, insert the hook, insert it into the D-ring, pull the yarn through, and make a single crochet. And the last stitch we are crocheting without D-ring. And making the chain stitch. And we will not cut the yarn yet because we will attach the side panel to the main panel with this working yarn. So to attach this side panel, we need to grab our main panel and place it with the wrong side at the top, like this, and the right side at the bottom. and we should do the same with this panel. Make sure the D-ring is faced up to you, because when we attach it to the back, we need the D-ring to be outside to attach the strap to it. So we will attach the side panel something like this and form the shape of a bag. This is the side view. Now that we've placed the markers, let's see how this piece will fold into the shape of a bag. This part where we have those two sections of 12 rows will form the flap and the back wall. Then we'll have 6 rows for the bottom and another 12 rows for the front wall. And it will fold like this. So we need to attach the side panel corners to the markers. So we have our first top left corner to this corner. If you want, you can literally attach it with the marker, so it will be placed right. Next one, left bottom corner to this marker. Again, make sure the D-ring is outside of the bag, so you can attach the strap later. So this corner should be attached to this marker. I will change the marker because it's hard to attach. Next one, right corner to this marker. This will be our bottom part. And the last top right corner to this marker. And here you can grab a smaller hook, so it will be easier for you to attach the parts together. Insert the hook into the stitch with the marker, and make sure your yarn is on the left from the last stitch. And now we can pull the last stitch of the side panel through this stitch with the marker, and that's our first working stitch. Then we make chain stitch, and now we need to make a single crochets. Crocheting through both panels. So we have those bars here. We need to crochet through all of these bars. Each bar represents one row, so we already crocheted through this space under the first bar, so we need to insert our hook into the next space under the bar. Then we need to find the same on the side panel. So we've already crocheted through this first space, so we insert our hook through the next one. Like this. And now we grab our yarn and pull through both of this. And make a single crochet. Find the next bar, insert the hook, find the matching one on the side panel, pull the yarn through, and make a single crochet. The next one, matching one on the side panel, pull the yarn and make a single crochet. And we continue like this until we attach all the side panel up to this point. When we attached the last corner, we make chain 1, tighten, leave a short tail, and cut the yarn. Now we need to weave in this tail, like this. And that's our side view. Next we need to crochet just the same side panel as we did before for this side and attach it in the same way. When you made the second side panel, place it with the D-ring facing up to you. You can attach the side panel with the markers first, so it will be easier to find the matching stitches. So in this case, we will start from this point. So we need to turn the bag. First, we need to find this corner on the back. Insert our hook. Place the working yarn on the left. Insert the hook into the last stitch we made and pull it through the corner stitch and make a chain stitch. Next, we need to find this horizontal bar. Insert the hook. Find the matching one here. And make a single crochet. And you just continue crocheting until this marker. And then weave in the tail. Just the same as we did on this side. And this is our result. Looks like this. When you close the back, it should be folding here and on this side, and you close the back. And now we're going to make the strap. For the strap, I will be using this 3 strands and remove this one, so the back will be lighter. To start making the strap, we need to leave a tail that will help us to attach the strap to the carabiner or to the D-ring or to the bag itself. That's up to you. So leave a tail, something like this. Make a slip knot. Make sure you're using the working yarn that attached to the ball. And then we are starting to make a foundation chain. The length of the foundation chain should be slightly longer than the actual length you want, because when we will start the second row and we'll be making slip stitches, our strap will shrink a little. So if you make bigger foundation chain, you will get the right length in the end. I want my strap to be 60 centimeters long, so I will be making 70 centimeters foundation chain. When you reached the needed length of the strap, we are going to turn our crochet and we'll crochet through the back bump. Skip the first stitch, insert the hook into the back bump of the second stitch. And make a slip stitch. The next one. And another slip stitch. And continue like this to the end of the row. You can stop here or continue and add another row. To continue, we need to chain one, turn the warp, skip the first stitch, and insert our hook through the back loop only. And continue making slip stitches to the end of the row. When we finished with the handle, we can attach it to the carabiner or to the D-ring or directly to the back side panel. To do so, we just need to grab our tail and pull the tail through the D-ring. Insert the hook into the space under the first stitch and pull the tail through. The first row. And do the same once again. Next, insert the hook into the next stitch and do the same again. And the last two reps using the last stitch. In my case, I have 3 rows, so 3 stitches here. You can have more if you made wider handle, so you can use the same principle and just attach it like this. If you have bigger carabiner, you can do more wraps into the same stitch. Now when you finished with the attaching, we need to weave in the tail, and the longer tail you weave in, the more reliable this connection will be. So we can use the existing stitches to hide this tail and continue like this until you hide all the tail. Then we switch to the other side, and here we have this last stitch. You can pull it now and cut the yarn. If you have the tail and the last stitch on this side, you may need to make additional row, or you can attach new yarn here, depending on your needs. So leave the tail And now we do just the same we did with the other side. When we finally made the form of the bag, we need to connect our snap button. So first we need to find the place where we will connect it. As we have 20 stitches here, we need to find the place between 10th and 11th stitches, exactly here. Place the marker and fold the bag in the way that you like. I prefer to fold this side section like this, the same here, and then close the bag. And I wanted to hold its shape when it's closed. So I need to connect the button right here, but from the inside. I'll place the marker here and need to do the same on this front wall. So now we can place our snap button and start sewing it to the bag. If your bag is not holding its shape right, you can steam it or iron it, but be careful, because if you use very high temperature, the synthetic material can just start melting. So use low temperatures or covering layer of fabric to protect this grass yarn.